Hey guys, welcome back for another video. It's your boy Seth Virgo, and I've been wanting to make this video for quite some time, but I never really had the chance. And it looks like tonight's the night because the Oscars is currently going on right now, and I wanted to rank my top 3 movies of 2025. I know what you guys are thinking. Who's this guy? Is he qualified? I just want to let you guys know, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm a huge movie connoisseur, and I like to watch movies in my free time, and I like to, judge them. And I judge them pretty hard. So without further ado, here's my rendition of the Oscars, the Juan Awards. And I know the name is a bit lazy, but let's just keep it simple for now. Hey, how are you guys doing? I'm your host, Juan Ibarra. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Settle down. Settle down. All right, for our third spot, we have Superman. And I know it sounds kind of basic, but I'm gonna be honest, this movie is exactly what it was intended to be. And what I mean by that was, before this movie came out, there was a lot of media and a lot of posts about it, and there was a lot of big expectations for James Gunn's new Superman universe. Everyone loved the idea of having a new version of Superman in the big screen. And everyone knew it was going to be like a lighter version, a nicer Superman, and honestly, that's exactly what we needed. But there was just so much hype behind this character, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm hearing a lot of good things, but usually that ends up being really bad because if the movie doesn't meet the people's expectations, usually the movie is going to be turned out to look and seem very bad. But this movie didn't do that. It met every expectation. It was just an amazing experience for me in the theaters. I remember there was a scene in the movie during the war. There was a little boy who put a flag in the ground, and it was the symbol of Superman. And that scene was very emotional to me. And I remember thinking to myself, especially during this geopolitical climate, there's probably a kid out there right now who wishes like Superman was real and like he could save them from all this. I really like the actors for Lois Lane and Clark Kent because you can really feel their chemistry, and it's crazy to think that those two actors are married to 2 different people. And it just, me and my girlfriend talked about this. We could never be actors. What? That might be too toxic, but you know. But yeah, Superman just was an embodiment of just kindness and being a good person, and that's exactly what Superman was supposed to be. And I think David Cornsweet like depicted that perfectly. And he looks just like Clark Kent. I'm not gonna lie, like he fits the role pretty good. Also, Lois Lane's character, she was kind of hateable in this movie. Let me explain. I understand that she's a reporter and it's important for her to get both sides, but when there's an issue and there's clearly a wrong and a right side, why give the wrong side the platform? I understand there's 2 sides of the story, but in this case, there was a clear oppressor and there was people going through genocide, let's be honest. And when you give the oppressors a platform, it just validates their debate, and that can enable them more, when in reality, this isn't debatable. And that was the main reason Superman was upset with Lois at the beginning of the movie. But yeah, Superman, 10 out of 10, great movie. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend. I know we started off strong, but we're just setting the standard really high, but these next 2 movies are even better. All right, for spot number 2, it's gonna be Sinners.
I think that was the best day of my life. Was it like that for you?
No doubt about it. Last time I seen my brother, love you. Last time I seen the sun,
early in this morning,
just for a few hours, it was free.
This was a great movie. I know a lot of people came in watching this movie for Michael B. Jordan, but I don't think they realized they were about to watch peak. Michael B. Jordan is such a great actor. He literally played 2 people, and they both had their own personality, and he executed that perfectly. And plot twist, there's vampires in this movie. I know that might sound crazy, but the movie was so dynamic. It had so much going on. Vampires being in it wasn't even the highlight. For me, this movie showed me exactly what brotherhood is, because when I was watching it, I was thinking of my brothers back home, and I'm like, yeah, this is literally us. But yeah, man, just how these brothers treated each other, I'm like, that's exactly how it should be. It was just so beautiful. So it was just it was amazing. I really liked it. I was thinking of my brothers the whole time, and it was a great experience. When you think of party movies, you would think of like Project X and that sort of movie. But for me, I'm gonna think of Sinners, because this movie revolved around one night, and it was the best night ever for those that survived. This movie, in my opinion, had everything. It was just that amazing. There was a scene where the main character was like playing his guitar, and the narrator in the background talking about how music is spiritual and it brings in the present, the past, and even the future. And you could see all these cultures colliding, and it was just an amazing scene. It really resonated deep with me because I don't know, that was just really impactful. It was really powerful, and I don't know if they won any awards for that, but they definitely win a Juan trophy. It got crazy at the end. It like was just a scene straight out of Rambo where I think it was Smoke, where Smoke just ends up killing all these racist people, and it was actually really satisfying to see. But I was just like, dang, this is crazy. This is a crazy way to end this movie. And the credits happened. I was like, no, is this the end of the movie? I want more. Like, I want to know what happens next. And then after the credits, there was a post-credit scene, and I was like, thank goodness. And we find out that Smoke's brother is still alive. I don't know, they were just so cool walking up to that jazz bar and then walking away. He made a promise to his brother and he kept it. He didn't kill him at the end. Anyways, such a great movie, 10 out of 10. And it would have been first place if number one didn't happen. All right, so before I say my number one spot, I want to give an honorable mention to the movie Heretic. Heretic was such an amazing movie. I watched it with my girlfriend on a plane heading to Florida, and it was a really good movie. It's not your typical cult movie. And by that, I'm talking movies like Together, Midsummer, Hereditary. These movies where like the cult ends up winning at the end, and it's just a very eerie and creepy feeling, I feel, and I hate that. But in this movie, the good people win at the end, and I'm just so happy. Like, the cult ends up being fake. The girl ends up like outsmarting her capturer. I love that. It's a feel-good movie, and it's a breath of fresh air, basically, because these movies are trying to be cool, I guess, edgy, and like the bad guys win, or at least I think the bad guys win at the end. But this time, you know, the what is it called? The End Girl ends up winning. I think that's the name, The End Girl. So yeah, that movie, pretty good. All right, guys. So the moment we've all been waiting for: what movie wins first place of 2025 Juan Awards? Can I get a drum roll? Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Congratulations. Man, where do I even begin? This movie had everything. I absolutely loved it. If you guys like dark fantasy, y'all should watch some Guillermo del Toro's films. He never misses, man. And right off the top of my head, I'm thinking of Pan's Labyrinth. That's my childhood right there. It was an amazing movie. He did an amazing job, and I'm so glad he directed and wrote this movie, because he did a good iteration of Frankenstein, in my opinion. A lot of people didn't like it because Jacob Elordi was acting as Frankenstein, and he made him hot, but I did not complain. He did an amazing job playing Frankenstein, and it was just an amazing performance by everybody. Oscar Isaac, Mia Goth, and Christoph Waltz was in this movie, which is crazy. He just happens to be in like my favorite movies. He's an amazing actor. He makes me hate him. He makes me love him. Frankenstein's basically the story of, Frankenstein, the book. Well, if you haven't seen it, let me break it down. It starts off with a ship captain seeing an explosion in the background. And him and his sailors, I guess, they go down to check up on what happened, and they find Victor Frankenstein lying on the ground. And they end up getting chased by this monster, which is, Frankenstein's monster. And they end up bringing Victor into the ship, and they're asking him, like, what's wrong? Like, why is he killing so much people? Like, who is this monster? Like, why is he killing all these people? And then Victor's like, I created him. And then it starts off with chapter 1. I think it's like Victor's side of the story, or Victor's story, something like that. And this is one of those movies where you don't have to read the book and you can still enjoy the movie. It was really interesting to see Victor's upbringing. He had a lot of trauma from his dad because, he was really rich, and so his dad wanted him to be educated, and every time he didn't get a question right, like he would whip him, like he would abuse this kid basically. So Victor, he was abused at a very young age by his own father, and his mom died when he was very young as well. So he had a lot of trauma. His mom, funny enough, was played by Mia Goth, and when he grows up, he ends up falling in love with a woman who's also played by Mia Goth. And I don't know if that has anything to do with his childhood trauma, but his girlfriend looks like his mom, which was really interesting. Anyways, Victor grows up to be a very famous scientist who wants to bring people that are dead back to life, and that's how he ends up creating Frankenstein. And he realizes he made a mistake. He believes that his monster is, dumb. He can only say the word Victor, and that's really sad if you think about it. He ends up burning his whole laboratory / mansion down, thinking he killed Frankenstein's monster. We end up knowing that's not true because it goes back to present day where the captain is like interrogating Victor, going like, "What is that monster?" He was like, "I didn't kill him. He's still alive." And then Frankenstein opens the door in the ship, and he's like, and then the ship captain's like, "Go ahead, kill me. I know who you are. You're a monster." And then Frankenstein's like, "Is that what he told you? Let me tell you my side of the story." And then the screen goes black and it says Chapter 2, The Creature's Tale. It was just really cool to see. I was like, oh, I completely forgot like they were going by chapters like a book. Anyways, it was so cool. And then we find out that Frankenstein, he's actually very smart and he has feelings just like humans. And he was just neglected by Victor so much. And he was whipped by Victor every time he couldn't get anything right. And then you kind of see more into Victor's psyche where he has a lot of repressed trauma from his dad. When his dad used to hit him, and now that he created this monster, he started beating him and abusing him because of this like repressed rage. And it's it's a cycle that never stops basically, because his dad beat him, so I guess he thought it was his turn to start beating like his creation. It was just so sad to me because I was just like, dang, this sucks for him. Like I was just seeing Frankenstein's point of view. I'm like, dang, dude, he's going through like the worst of the worst, man, of humans. And like this is his perception of humans, and it's like us being very awful to him, and it just sucks, dude. By the end of the movie, he ends up forgiving Victor, showing that he was better than humans in a way. It was very poetic, and he ends up helping the sailors go back into the ocean because I think they were stuck in an iceberg or something like that. It just goes to show, like, no matter what the humans did to Frankenstein, he still ended up being like, he chose to be a better creature at the end of it. It was very emotional. But the cast did a great job acting. It was such a great movie. I know I thought Mia Goth was gonna end up being like Frankenstein's bride. She did die at the end of the movie. But there's a new movie coming out this year where it's called The Bride, and it's about Frankenstein's bride, but it's a different cast. So I don't know if I'm gonna like this movie as much because I would rather see Mia Goth and Jacob Elordi in that movie. Anyways, thanks for watching. Those are my top 3 movies, and I'll see you guys back for another video where I rank my top 3 songs of the year. So stay tuned for that.